Now before installation, make sure to read the directions thoroughly and cover to cover. Or just YouTube it. Welcome back, Boondockers. Today we're talking about the Fan-tastic Fan. Today we got the model 1250. Has the 3 speeds, fits a standard 14x14 opening. This one has the manual lift. Allegedly quiet in operation will be determined. This one you can reverse the airflow, so you can either draw the air in or suck the air out. My favorite part, it's made right here in good old America. It's always a plus in my book. What I really like too is that they actually show the graph here of how many amperes the fan's going to use while it's actually running, and the actual cubic feet per minute of air that it's going to move at set speed. So although it's moving 478, at just about 2 amps of power. So the more air that you move, the more the fan's actually doing. So let's unbox it and see what's inside. See what we got in the box. See some wires. That's for your power, obviously. There's the vent. Take this thing out. Here's the actual fan itself. Assuming the on and off switch, the reverse switch, and the speed. That aside. And we got cover in here. Here quickly. There we go. So that will go on the interior of the trailer. Make everything all nice and pretty. Put that aside. And we got some, I imagine that's just an extension for the wires. You need to make it a little bit longer. They gave you some screws and some splices in there too, so it's kind of nice to have. Well, first part of installation is you got to decide where you want to put it. Our trailer, we only have really 2 vents. We got this one in kind of the kitchen living area. Then we got this one in the shower bathroom area. But we decided to put it here in kind of the main space simply because all of our windows are right here. So when we're sucking the air out, it'll kind of draw all that fresh air in. So first step's going to be to remove this interior trim piece here. Most of these just held on by these 4 screws here, right there. So we'll just take those out. And that just slides out. So the only thing that holds that on is pretty much just the 4 screws, so just put that aside. So on your actual vents, each trailer is going to be a little bit different. Some people may have actual styrofoam in here as like insulation. Some people have like fiberglass, all kinds of things. These actually has wood surrounding it. And since this was an unpowered fan from the factory, I don't have any actual pre-existing wires or connections. If you had a stock factory fan, you'll see some wires or connections right here from your stock fan that you can easily just splice the new one into. I don't have that, so I'm going to have to find an alternative power source, which would be like a light or a speaker or something like that, some kind of wire harness for that. When I took this off, I was digging around, I pulled the roof down, and I was able to fish these wires out through here. So I'm going to run the power for the fan through these 2 wires, which again is probably for the speaker or the light here. So just make sure before you start tearing things up that you have something to actually connect the fan to. And if you got some styrofoam insulation or something of that nature, you can always kind of tear away at that a little bit just to find where your wires are. Alright, here we are on top of the roof of the RV. But before you actually get on top of the roof, check and make sure that you have an actual walk-on roof. Our trailer does, but check with your manufacturer. Some trailers aren't rated to walk on, so you don't want to go up there and start working on things, then you're going to have big problems. But now your next step is, once you got the interior stuff taken off, is you're going to want to remove all this sealant here around the current vent. And then there's going to be screws around the outside here you're going to have to take out. So that's going to be a majority of the work, is just cleaning this old sealant off. And you want to get as much of this off as you possibly can. Nice clean roof will make for a nice clean install. Alright, now that we got some of the sealant off, I still got to clean this up a lot better, but most of the screw heads are exposed. So now you can start taking the screws out. Again, just go kind of slow. They'll come right out. Alright, now that all the screws are out from the side of the frame here, what you can do is you can start lifting the vent up. You want to do this kind of real carefully because you don't want to actually rip any part of the roof. So if you just start lifting this up, you kind of take your little pry tool here and you can just kind of run it under the sides to separate the actual roof from the rest of the caulk. But again, do this real slow because you don't want to rip the material, the actual roof itself. And there we go, we got the actual old vent out. Hey, once you get all the screws, everything out, it'll just kind of pull out. And then here's the actual part where the roof overlaps. So I'm going to clean this up a lot more yet before we put in the new vent. But again, you want to get this as clean and level as you possibly can before you install the new vent for a much better, more watertight seal. Alright, now that I got most of the caulking, the old caulking, cleaned up there, what I'm going to do before I put the new vent in, I'm going to be using this 100% silicone from Gorilla. It's 100% waterproof, shrink and crack proof. It's got a 30-minute shower ready cure time, which it's not supposed to rain, but you never know. Claims it won't yellow over time. I'm going to give this stuff a shot, see if it works. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay a bead outside of the hole, then I'll put the actual new vent in. And just make sure when you do that, that you mount it so the vent opening is towards the front of your trailer. So just kind of look for the little bracket on there, so that way if you're going down the road or whatever, if you get your vents that are open, it won't get tore off. So just make sure that you mount it in the correct position. Very key thing. Alright, so I laid out a strip of caulking here and put the new vent in, and you can see it's kind of coming out of the side there, which is good. So now all you got to do is take these screws, the self-tapping screws that I came with, and just kind of drill them in as you go. I would suggest putting kind of like you're putting on a tire, maybe like a star pattern. You go one here, one over here, one here, one there, one here, and that way it kind of evens out the vent so it'll seal down properly versus just doing one side type thing. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And when you're screwing these in, you don't want to make it too tight either. It's just a thin plastic on the roof, on the actual vent, so you don't need to give it all the way. Just kind of nice, more snug tight will be just fine. Then go ahead, just kind of finish all the screw holes in here. I got a few going right now. I'm gonna finish up the rest. There. Then we can finish caulking the outside of the actual vent. Alright, got all the side screws in on there, like so. I'm going to go ahead and actually caulk up the rest of this if you want to get this kind of flat and as level as you can, because that way if it rains you want the water to run away from the actual roof vent. So this is how I caulked it up here. I tried to get it as smooth and level as I can. Again, trying to just get the water to run actually away from the vent instead of pulling the vent. Just like so. And I'm not a professional, so if I did something wrong, please leave it in the comments. You can always go back and fix it, but all the screw heads are closed up, and I believe this should be alright. But now, time to finish the installation, go inside the trailer, and actually wire it up. Alright, now that everything's done on the roof section, time to give the fan some power. So, they labeled the wires for you that the white is the positive and the black is the negative on the actual fan, and the same should be on your trailer. If you're not sure, use a voltmeter, find out what's your hot wire, what's your negative ground. I know for a fact that the white on our trailer is indeed the positive cable. So what we're going to do is going to cut these, strip away the insulation on the wires, and then I'll use these twist-on connectors just to kind of splice everything together. Then I'll wrap it up in some electrical tape just as a little extra. Here we go. Alright, now that we got the wiring hooked up for the fan, we'll see if the fan actually works. I've set up an extremely scientifically accurate piece of toilet paper on the window to see exactly what the Fan-tastic fan does. This side and that side of the trailer. Let's have at it. So here's the speed dial. I'll put it on to 1. And it's in the exhaust mode right now, so it should be pulling fresh air from the outside. As you can see, the paper does begin to move, causing a breeze inside the trailer. On the other side, same thing. That's on its lowest setting, so speed number 1. Let's crank it up, see what happens. This is on speed setting number 2. You can see we're pulling in a lot more fresh air, so I can actually feel a breeze in here right now, which is the whole point. I mean, this is nice. Same thing over here. And we'll go for the gold, number 3. It's everything she's got. As you can see, there's definitely a breeze in the trailer. And honestly, this thing's going as fast as it'll go. It's not that loud. We can easily have just a normal conversation in here, and I can definitely feel the breeze. My initial thoughts, opinions, definitely worth the money. But let's go ahead and get this all sealed up and looking good, and then we'll complete the installation. Alright, all I did is just kind of wrap these up with some electrical tape, just as a little extra measure thing, bouncing down the road, whatever. So I'm going to take this and kind of tuck them behind the actual wood panel here, that, or 2x4, whatever that is. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put on the actual cover and complete our installation. Alright, all we got left to do is to install a little interior trim piece, but as you can see here, they're two different sizes. This is the original one that came on the trailer. This is the one that comes with the Fan-tastic Fan. So they kind of send you what I would say an oversized one, is because everyone's trailer is different. Everybody's trailer has different levels of insulation. So obviously this one won't fit on our current roof, so you're probably going to have to trim it to size to whatever thickness of roof that you have. Measuring it out, you can see here, it's about 3 3/8, so just under 3.5 inches. And this one is about the same. It comes up to about 4.5, so we'll just say 3. We'll round it up 3.5 to 4.5. So that means I got to take about 1 inch off the new trim piece in order for it to fit on our ceiling. So I'll just mark it off here, then I'm gonna cut it out, and then it should fit. All right. So lined up where I'm going to cut here. Next step is simply cut it out. You can probably cut this with almost anything, but I'm going to be using just a Dremel with a basic cutting blade on it. It's cut to the proper size it needs to be. All you got to do is basically slide it in, same thing as the old one. As you can see here on the fan, if the camera girl would be so compliant, they have the 2 grooves, one on the outside, one on the inside. It goes kind of on the inside slot right here. So just like so. Just like that. And all you got to do is reinstall the 4 tapping screws, self-tapping screws that it came with. So, and you're done. That's it. Well, that's it. Installation's complete. I don't know about you guys, but I had a fantastic good time. Anyway, if you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below, let us know what you guys want to see us do. More DIY stuff, whatever. Let us know in the comments below.